Hi, I'm LL the Tutor, and this is Spells 1, an introduction to spell working. About spells and spell working. Definitions. Spell, a formula, incantations, gestures, ritual actions, etc., which aim to create or change a person, place, thing, or course of events. Spell working, often referred to as spell casting. Magical working, basically performing/doing a spell. Speaking the incantations, doing the gestures, the ritual actions, etc. of a spell at a specified time, place, etc. The ethics of spell working. Black workings. It's considered wrong, bad, evil, malevolent, etc. to cast spells that control, harm, bind, or manipulate others. Such actions will invoke the law of three, the ill will of wizards and man, the wrath of the gods and spirits, etc. Gray workings. It's considered inappropriate to cast spells that help others without their consent, or to cast attainment spells that may deprive others of their due. Academia Magica. In Academia Magica, there are several methods of classifying spells. The most common are by ethical considerations, black, white, or gray, by tradition, voodoo spells, Wiccan spells, Norse spells, Egyptian spells, etc., and by type, glamours, discernments, malevolent spells, conjuries, protective spells, enhancement spells, attainment spells, transformation spells, etc. Spells by type. Glamours. A spell that makes objects, people, places appear different from what they really are. Discernment spells. Spell divinations. Spell divinations for discerning the truth of a statement, discerning the identity of a theft, the location of hidden objects, the location of lost objects. Malevolent spells. Spells that harm, distract, or manipulate others. Curse. A spell directed at a person with the intent to harm them. Hex. A spell directed at a person with the intent to confuse them. Jinx. A spell directed at a person with the intent to cause them repeated or continual bad luck. Evil eye. A curse worked with the gaze and empowered by envy. Fascination. A spell that charms. Binding spells. A spell that in effect stops someone, animal or beast, from performing a particular act. Not all bindings are considered black magic or malevolent magic. Conjuring spells. A spell that summons, invokes, evokes, coerces, etc., a spirit, a deity, or a power to appear within or without. Protective spells. Spells that protect. Blessings, benedictions, prayers, exorcisms, banishments, cleansings, and purifications. Enhancing spells. A spell whose intent is to increase or improve a trait, a possession, an ability, a sense, etc. Enchantments. A spell that imbues power and intent, etc., into an object. Attainment spells. Spells whose intent involves gain, getting something, usually something you don't have, luck, love, money, a new mate, wisdom, health, etc. Transformation spells. Spells that cause change. Shape-shifting, transportation spells where there's a change of location, restoration spells, etc. Magical theory. Spell empowerment simplified. Spells are considered to be empowered by the state of consciousness, faith, will, visualization, and concentrations of the wizard, by the blessings, will, and power of deities and spirits channeled and invoked, evoked, etc. in the spell, by the words of power, relics, places of power, stones, crystals, candles, plants, writings, names, namings, actions, timings, correspondence, etc., built into the spell. Magical theory. Spells always work. Spells always work. They always have an effect. Spells don't always bring about the desired change. The effect of a spell may also not always be visible. Factors that affect the outcome of a spell include the power in the spell, in harmony with or versus the most likely outcome, as determined by past actions, karma, and the powers that be. The basics. Finding spells. Sources. Websites, books, word of mouth, etc. Recommendations. Try doing a search for candle magic spells. These tend to be basic spells, simple spells, good for beginners. Also recommended any of Scott Cunningham's books. One that comes to mind is Earth Power. Again, basic spells, good for beginners. One word of caution: stay away from any spells that say black magic spells, curses, hexes, jinxes, bindings, etc. Journal. Journal all the spells that appeal to you, even those that are not of your tradition. Later on, you'll be able to modify those spells for your own use. Choosing which spells to cast. Things to consider and do. Is the spell appropriate to your tradition? Does the spell wording match your intent? How is the spell empowered? Are you comfortable with it? Do you have what you need to cast the spell? Is the timing right? Does the spell invoke deities or spirits? And if so, are they ones that you already have an existing relationship with? Do a divination to determine if the spell will have the desired outcome. Prepping for spell working. In times of need, it's possible to work spells without any prep. However, the spell's focus, performance, and power will be affected. Prepping. Gather the materials, check the timing, memorize the spell, do any devotions, offerings, and sacrifices, especially if you're working with deities or spirits. Cleanse and purify the space, the tools, and yourself. Choose a place that is private and is appropriate to the powers, spirits, deities, and etc., if any, invoked in the spell. Working the spell. Cast a circle if desired. Perform the spell with concentration, visualization, and intent. Release the power, and if there's any excess energy left over in you, or if you feel like there's a buildup, ground any excess, and when it's completed, forget it. Make sure you journal everything. The Practiceum. The Practiceum for this course includes practices for chanting, casting a circle, intent visualizations, several spell workings, and two paper assignments, one on ethics, one on spell research.